very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Students, welcome to the second leg of your orientation program. As I promised to you all that this journey will be full of learning, this is merely the beginning. At Asian Education Group, we constantly try to connect students with the industry so as to sensitize them with the skill set and attitude which the world today is looking for. Your development is our motto, and trust me that at Asian Education Group, we will keep no stone unturned to take you forward on the path of personal and professional growth. On this note, as we are talking about development and mindset, we have amongst us an individual who personifies this vision, Mr. Shiv Khera. Mr. Shiv Khera is an author, educator, business consultant, and a much sought after speaker. He inspires and encourages individuals to realize their true potential. He has taken his dynamic personal messages to opposite sides of the globe, from the US to Singapore. His 40 years of research and understanding has put millions on the path of growth and fulfillment. Over 8 million copies of his books have been sold globally, including his international bestseller, You Can Win, in 21 languages. His clients include Lufthansa, HP, DHL, HSBC, Canon, Nestle, Philips, Mercedes, Johnson & Johnson, MetLife, and many more. Tens of thousands have benefited from his dynamic workshops internationally in over 20 countries, and millions have heard him as a keynote speaker. He has appeared on numerous radio and television shows. Mr. Khera is a brand ambassador of Roundtable Foundation. He has been honored by the Lions International and Rotary International. His trademark is "Winners don't do different things. They do things differently." We welcome you, sir. Without taking any further time, I would like to pass on the stage to you.
All right, good afternoon to everybody. Now, let me share with you why I put this title as "To Turn a Setback into a Comeback." Because in my own life, I've had 3 major setbacks where I went into a minus, and what made me come back is what my sharing is going to be today. Now, first of all, with the scenario today, I don't think anybody has all the answers. Certainly I don't. And my academics are, I'm a BCom 3rd division. I failed in my 10th. That's my total academics. I come from a business family. We had coal mines in India, close to 1,000 people working. And our mines got nationalized and the government took over. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. Now, some families had money. Our family did not. My father had died when I was just about finishing college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. And I remember a year later, my daughter was born. And I sold some of the last piece of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. I did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all. And finally, November 13, 1975, I left India, went to US, initially went to Toronto. We were sleeping on the floor, and I started life with a bucket in my hand, started washing cars door to door. For a year and a half to 2 years, I was washing cars. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance, which I think was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I was on the verge of being fired by my manager within 3 months. But now there were some turning points which helped me. And thereafter, things changed. I moved on to the US, got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984, started a New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company with close to 500 clients for a decent sum. Now, this is my total journey for the last 45 years. And I'll share the learnings which has helped me turn a setback into a comeback. Dr. Malhotra, am I audible to you? Yes?
Yes, sir. You're completely audible, sir.
Okay, good, good. Just want to share.
If you can push the screen a little back.
Okay, it's good?
Yeah, that will be better. Yes, sir. Now this is perfectly fine.
Okay. Now, this corona crisis has moved from one city to another, literally covered the whole world. The hospitals are overcrowded, shortage of supplies everywhere. Orders are getting canceled, factories are closing, businesses are closing, unemployment going up, death rate going up. This scenario has literally shaken up the whole world. Now, the uncertainty everywhere and unpredictability is making people insecure because there is no finish line. Nobody can tell when will this finish. With the result, people are feeling insecure, and the insecurity is leading to stress, anxiety, frustration, depression, and anger. Now, all I can say is, all stress is not bad. In fact, stress is both natural and normal. Anybody who says they have no stress belongs into the lunatic asylum. Now, folks, many times in life, it is the stress that makes us perform. An athlete at the Olympics, is he under stress? Answer is yes. If he was not under stress, there's no way he can perform. I bet all of us might have seen, or in the movies at least, at the race course, the thoroughbreds, when they're being taken into the cabin, what are they doing? They're all jumping like this. They're under very heavy stress. And then they're put into the cabin, and the moment the bell rings, and they shoot and they run. Now that is a thoroughbred. But you take a jackass to the race course. This jackass walks so coolly, relaxed, comfortable. He is under no stress. He is not jumping up and down like a thoroughbred. But then he does not perform like a thoroughbred. He's a jackass, will remain a jackass forever. Now, this is very important. Stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. I repeat, Dr. Malhotra, stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. Crucial. Now, folks, all of us can handle stress. Everybody can handle stress. What we cannot handle is chronic stress. When stress becomes chronic, that is the time we get shattered. Now, folks, let us not overrate this crisis and threat, and let us not underrate our strength to fight and win. I repeat, this is very important. Let us not overrate this crisis and threat, and let us not underrate our strength to fight and win. Now, this crisis has impacted us three ways. One, our life. Two, our livelihood. Three, our lifestyle. How is it? Our life. First of all, none of us know who will be in quarantine next. Nobody knows. And two, what we do, where we go, and who we meet could be a matter of life and death. Now, that is the life component. Now, let us look at the livelihood side. Now, folks, there is job cuts, there is salary cuts. The businesses have closed. Even governments are not collecting any taxes. They're going bankrupt. With the result, everybody has lost their income. Now, who are the people who are the worst hit? There are three categories of people. One, the super rich. Two, the mediocre. Three, the poor. The worst hit are the poor people. They're the daily wage earners. They go to work, get money. They go to work, get money. They are the worst hit. Now let us look at the super rich. Folks, super rich are not impacted for any livelihood issue. I just was reading the other day that Apple Computers has $250 billion in cash reserve. Now they don't have a livelihood problem. Same thing with people like the Tatas, the Birlas, the Adani, the Ambani. I will be totally surprised if they also have a livelihood problem. They don't. Now that leaves the mediocre. Mediocre people like me and possibly some other listeners, the mediocre people are thinking, will the crisis finish before the money, or will the money finish before the crisis? That is the biggest concern. Now, this crisis has literally forced people to think between active income and passive income. Active income is, I go to work, I get money. I go to work, I get money. I don't go to work, I get no money. This is called active income. But now people are thinking, even if I don't go to work, I must get money. That is what brings financial independence. That is called passive income. Now, folks, many people are today working from home. And in fact, there's a banker who came to see me the other day, and I asked him, your people are working from home. You're paying them whatever salary, 50%, 100%, I don't care. Are you getting the same output? Guess what the answer was? They said, Mr. Khera, the 80-20 rule applies. The 80-20 rule says that only 20% people are responsible who can work without supervision. 80% people need supervision. Even if you give them measurable targets, they still need supervision. And people who are not mature, they're not really working responsibly from home. They're looking at working from home as a paid vacation, which is not. But there are some industries where you cannot work from home, such as manufacturing. How can you manufacture from home? Construction industry. How can you construct from home? You can't. There are some industries you just cannot. But now, the big question came. I asked the bankers that you are the people they're working at 30% staff, 30% staff. And I said, are you working at 30% efficiency level? He said, no, we are working at 50, 60% efficiency level, and we are shooting for 80, 90%. I said, how is that? He said, everybody who was on manual banking before, we're putting them on digital platforms. So we've already reached 60% efficiency level with 30% staff, and we're shooting for 80, 90%. Now the big question comes that if you can achieve 90% efficiency with 30% staff, does that mean the 60% staff will become redundant? When the crisis is over, you won't need them. He said, well, that could be a real issue. We may not need them at all. But that is true. But now, the next question comes. There is so much for the livelihood part. And now let us look at the third part, is the lifestyle. Now, folks, till the lockdown came in, all of us, we were in the fast lane. We were all running. Where we were going, we didn't know, but we had no time. Now, look at this. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. And yet, we don't have what? We don't have time. You know why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. I'm not preaching here, I'm guilty myself. And whenever we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Urgent may or may not be important, and important may or may not be urgent. But the interesting thing is that whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. See, exercising every day is important, but it's not urgent. Health is important, but it's not urgent. Now, if I have a crucial meeting tonight and I cannot exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what happens? I land up in the hospital. Same thing. In life, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But interestingly, we ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? We start talking to our lawyers. See, folks, interesting thing is, whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. Now, what this lockdown has done is literally pushed people to step backwards and see, what are we doing today? Now, you ask people, why do you go to work? I go to work for my family. Why do you work hard? I work hard for my family. Who are the most important people in your life? My family. And who are the most neglected? Also my family. What a joke. Sadly, the most important people also become the most neglected people too. Now, till now, everybody was on the fast lane. And now since people have to, after the lockdown, people are thinking, we were running all right, but check, were we running in the right direction? Now people have come to realize that direction is much more important than speed. I repeat, direction in life is much more important than speed. And another change that has taken place in the lifestyle is, till now we kept hearing cash is king. Cash is king. Now, people kept saying that, but they didn't understand what it meant. Now they understand that it is better to have money in the bank than having 50 shirts in your closet. It is better to have money in the bank than having a car worth $250,000. It doesn't make sense. Cash is king. Now people have realized what it means. Now, as far as this is concerned, through history, there are only 2 points of references where we have come across a similar crisis in the past 100 years. One was the Spanish flu in 1918. It killed 50 million people were dead. Now, why am I sharing this? Spanish flu came in 2 phases. It came in 1918, and then it went away. So people said the danger is over. But 6 months later, it came back, and it killed 50 million people. Now, I'm saying this only for one reason, that when the lockdown is over, people think the danger is over. Danger is not over. Folks, the second phase could be worse. In fact, in South Korea, Singapore, the second phase is back. Melbourne just closed completely 1 week ago. And in the US, 170,000 people are dead already. And they're saying second phase is likely to come in September, October. So my only thing is, don't get your the guards down. And the second example or reference is the Great Depression of 1929. Folks, 1929, the banks failed, stock market crashed, people lost their savings, $100 became $15. I repeat, $100 became $15. Dollar lost its value by 85%. And 15 million people became unemployed. Now, 15 million people 100 years ago is equivalent to 55 million people today, because the population in US was only 120 million then. And right now, I just checked, over 50 million people are on unemployment list in the US right now. Only US. Now, Dr. Malhotra, this is very important, and that is, experience has shown that whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has always gone up. I repeat, whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has always gone up. Now, during the Great Depression, when people had lost their shirt, but there were some people who started their businesses during the Great Depression with nothing. And today they are household words in the US and the world, pretty much. I'm going to share only 3 examples. And these people were not educated, they had no money, they had no risk-taking ability, but they had one thing: they were solution-focused people. You see, if you notice, there are some people who are problem-focused. You know what that means? You give them a solution, they'll give you a problem. They have a problem for every solution. Henry Ford said, kick them out. We don't need such people. We're not stupid. We understand there are problems in life, but we need solution-focused people. I'm going to share 3 examples with you. One was a man by the name of George Jenkins. In his neighborhood, started an outlet for non-perishable durable goods. Now, these 2 words are important, non-perishable, because if they perished, it means there would be a total loss. Durable means if they're not able to sell, at least his family can use them. He started out 100 years ago, and today his turnover is in US is $30 billion. His net worth is $6 billion. And he has 1,000 outlets in the US, and the store is called Publix Supermarket. You can Google it, check it out. Second example, there were two brothers in California, Gallo brothers. They were struggling. So they got some grapes, started making wine out of it. But nobody would buy it. They started selling the wine 50% below market. And today, they're valued at $10 billion. The third example was a man by the name of Simplot. He had a patch of land in Idaho, started cultivating potatoes. Now, what he couldn't sell, they ate, and what he couldn't eat started rotting. So he could not afford the loss of rotten potatoes, so he started freezing them. And folks, today, he accounts for 33% of the French fries business in the US, with net worth of close to $10 billion. Now, why am I sharing these examples with you? I don't want the listeners to walk away that every one of us starts a business and we will all become billionaires. That is absurd. All I'm saying is, they were solution-focused people. They have no risk-taking ability. They had no money. They were not educated people. We also need to become solution-focused. Think about it. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? How come? Think about it. Okay, now, this crisis has impacted us three ways. One, physically, medically. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to address that. Two, economically. I will say something because I think you're a business school and many listeners are from the business background here. Economically, till now, the word was globalization, globalization, globalization. Now the word has become what? Localization, localization, localization. Why is that? Because till now, production was 20,000 miles away from consumption. And all of a sudden, people have realized that a producing country can blackmail us, which is what happened. I was surprised to hear that America depends on China for 97% of the pharma products. I don't know, Dr. Malhotra, if you knew it. America depends on China for 97% of pharma products. India depends on China for 81% of antibiotics. India depends on China on 70% of electronics. So now people have realized that a country can blackmail us in 1 minute and put us out of business. The whole country can go out of business. So now they said we must bring production close to consumption. And why did they take production 20,000 miles away? Because of labor costs. But today with automation and robotics, you can set up a capacity 20 times for more capacity with 1/10 of the manpower. So the labor cost means nothing anymore. So you can actually bring production and consumption close with hardly any labor cost today. Okay, so much for the economics. Now the third part is psychological, the emotional part, which is really what I will address going forward from here. Folks, emotional side is this crisis, people who are emotionally strong, they're coming out stronger from this crisis. And people who are emotionally weak, they're falling apart. WHO came up with a report that people who are emotionally weak, they're fighting at home and domestic violence has gone up by 50%. Okay, we will address the emotional side as we go along. Now, what are the solutions and remedies? That is what we're really here to talk about, not the problem, but the solution here. Okay, I'm going to share with you 9 solutions. If I have time, I'll cover all 9. If not, at least I'll cover 8. And here are and I'll go slow. If you want to take them down, please do so. The first one is called the Serenity Prayer. About 45 years ago, I attended a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. There were about 1,000 people. I was one of them. And Dr. Peale came up, looked at everybody and said, it appears you people are so relaxed, calm, comfortable. It appears nobody has a problem here. Then he asked, does anybody here have a problem? Now, who doesn't have a problem? So everybody raised their hand. Yeah, we got a problem. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand. We want to get rid of our problems. And then Dr. Peale said, on my way here, I came across a place where I saw some people. They were all stretched out, totally relaxed. They had no problem whatsoever. How many people would like to know where that place is? Again, everybody raised their hand. And then Dr. Peale said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. And there are people lying there, stretched out, all relaxed. They have no problem whatsoever. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of the problem? Nobody raised their hand. Everybody put their hand in the pocket. Then Dr. Peale said, remember, problem is a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we shall have problems. The day we don't have problems, we'd be dead. And when you're running short of problems, that is a time to get on your knees and pray to God, have you stopped trusting me anymore? Send me some problems. And that day he gave a prayer, which is called the Serenity Prayer. And to me, that is the gist of life. And for the past 45 years, I have not left my home without my prayer. And I've come across many adverse situations, and this prayer has helped me overcome them. And the prayer goes like this. I'll repeat it twice if you want to note it down. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. I repeat, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. Now, if you analyze and dissect this little prayer, it says it all. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Now, let me ask you, can we change everything in this world? Answer is no. Do we control everything and we change it the way we want to? Answer is no. There are many things beyond, such as, I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, and neither did you. And granted, sometimes people are born deformed. Sometimes bad things do happen to good people for no fault of their own. What wrong did they do? Who knows? If this is the color of my skin and my height, there's nothing I can do about it. How did this crisis, corona crisis, come? I don't know, but it's here. So what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously, not grudgingly. Because many times in life, we keep fighting the things we just cannot change. And we bring stress into our lives. And we become paralyzed and we become unproductive. So it says, what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously, not grudgingly. And if I can change, then give me the courage to do it and the wisdom to know what I can and what I cannot. Now, when I wrote my book last year, new one, You Can Achieve More, which was launched in London and Canada last year, I took this thought 2 steps forward and I said, life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but not really. Now, how is life full of choices? See, if I ill-treat you, I have chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? If I exercise every day, I've chosen to invite good health, haven't I? If I eat too much every day, I've chosen to be obese, haven't I? If I tell lies, I've chosen to lose my credibility, haven't I? And if I tell the truth, I've chosen to become a credible person, haven't I? See, life is full of choices. Now, very important is, we are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. Now, how is life full of compromises? In life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. And sometimes nature gives us a lemon. The choice is ours. Do we cry or do we make lemonade? That is our choice. Now, many times I'm asked, Mr. Khera, people who are successful, don't they make mistakes in life? And people who are failures, don't they do positive things in life? My answer is that people who are successful, they do make mistakes. But remember, making a mistake once in a while does not make anybody a failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. Doing something positive once in a while does not bring success either. Repeating the same positive behavior again and again is what brings success. So what is success? Series of positive choices in life is called success, and series of negative choices in life is called failure, and that's it. It's not complicated at all. Okay, that's step one. Now, step two. To overcome this crisis, folks, limit your exposure to news only twice a day. 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, and that's it. Why? Because news is so negative. Why? It is depressing. But have you noticed there are some people who wake up in the morning and they turn the TV on as if they're looking for a score between a cricket match between India and Australia. What are they looking for? How many infected, how many died? How many infected, how many died? How many infected, how many died? They watch the news for 1 hour. Then they switch the channel, go to another channel as if the score is going to change. They watch another 2 hours the next channel. Then they move the third channel and the fourth channel and the fifth channel. From morning till night, they're watching the news all day long, 14 hours a day, and the evening the man says, I am depressed. Of course you will be depressed. Are you feeding your mind with how many infected, how many died, with negativity? Folks, just watch the news twice a day, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, and that's it. Stay away. It is total negativity there. Step three. How do you convert your wasted time to productive time? How do you do it? Folks, before the crisis in the US, there was a survey conducted and found that an average American watches 3 to 4 hours of television per day. By the way, this is universal. In Europe, Asia, Australia, 3 to 4 hours a day is common. Now, a man bought a TV, new TV, and a friend came, saw the new TV, and he asked, how much did the TV cost you? He said $1,000. He said, how many hours do you watch the TV per day? He said, 3 to 4 hours. He said, then you don't know the true cost of the TV. He asked, how much money do you make a year? He said, $100,000 per year. And he said, have you ever calculated what is your hourly rate? He said, well, if I work 2,000 hours a year, my hourly rate comes to $50 an hour. And if I watch 3 hours of TV per day, that's $150 per day. You watch 365 days a year. Do you know what this TV is costing you? It is costing you $60,000 per year, which is more than your EMI on a $500,000 home. Now, don't get me wrong. Watching TV once in a while, watching a movie or a nice play, it's relaxing. We all like it. I like it. But tell me, watching TV 3 to 4 hours a day, does it make sense? You're wasting your life in front of the idiot box. And right now, there are people watching 7, 8, 10 hours of TV per day. What the hell are you doing? Folks, in my book, You Can Achieve More, I've given a survey which said that 85% of millionaires and billionaires in the world today are first generation. Only 15% coming from inheritance. Now, they were asked that how did you gain so much of financial success in such a short time? And guess what the answer was? They said, we read books. How many books? We read 50 books a year. They said we read 50 books a year. 50 books means 1 book a week. Folks, and they were also asked, what kind of books do you read? They said we only read self-help books. We don't read fiction. Why? Fiction is fiction, will remain fiction. But self-help book, reason they gave was, they said one good idea is worth $1 million. We don't have time to waste. Look at this. Multimillionaires, billionaires read 1 book a week. Warren Buffett reads 6 to 8 hours per day, reads 500 pages per day. Bill Gates is an avid reader. Folks, do we see the connection between learning and earning, learning and earning, learning and earning? You learn and you earn, and you learn and you earn. What is the reason for reading a good book? A good book gives you wisdom of ages in a capsule form. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There is a proven path to success. Follow it. And it avoids you pitfalls. But you know something? There are people who say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money to read books. And they're unemployed doing nothing. But they will not read a book. And they say, I don't have the money to buy a book. You know, you can go to a library and get any book for free. But they won't do it. Now, you will find that a serious reader never borrows or lends a book. Many times, people tell me, Mr. Khera, I got a great book. I can lend it to you. I said, don't. Give it to me, gift it to me, sell it to me. Don't lend it to me. Why? Because I won't give it back to you. Why? Because when I read a book, I always have a pencil and a marker with me on the side, and I make notes on the side. Why? Because I learned one thing. Reading a good book once is not good enough. Why? Because when you read a good book the second time, you don't find anything new in the book, but you find something new in yourself. And when you read a good book the third time, you don't find anything new in the book, but you find something new in yourself. And the fourth time and the fifth time. But if you read a book only once, a good book only once, and you say, I have read the book, you wasted your time. You read a book only once for entertainment. You haven't got anything out of it. There are books I read 4, 5, 6 times. Now, maybe some might say I'm a slow learner, but to hell with it. But to get it right, you got to read a book properly again and again. See, how do we convert wasted time into productive time? Now, don't get me wrong. There was a time when the crisis lockdown came in, I also watched TV for 8-9 hours. But then I kicked myself. I said, what the hell are you doing? Wasting time. I went into my library and I found in my own library, there were many books in the cartons lying there. I have 250,000 books in my library alone, which is more than many libraries have. And I saw many books were half read. And I brought the books upstairs, started reading books. One night I was reading a book till 6 o'clock in the morning, then couldn't get up till 2 o'clock, but who cares? I did not waste my time watching TV. Now, very important thing I want to bring here is, Dr. Malhotra, is that if from this crisis, if we have not come out upskilled, if we have not come out more knowledgeable, and if we have not come out healthier and fitter, it is not because we lack time, but because we lack self-discipline and commitment. Now, why say these three things? I said upskilled, more knowledgeable, and healthier, fitter. Let me start with the upskill part. Just to share with you, the lockdown came in on 24th of March. Folks, my first webinar I did was on 8th of April. Now, till then, I did not know how to turn the computer on. I'm not kidding. I'd never turned the computer on. I was learning to do SMS for my grandchildren. I had never in my life done an email. Never. I learned, and in the last 60 days, I have done 55 webinars, and sometimes twice a day, and I'm already booked till end September. It opened up something else. Now, I have upskilled myself. 1, 2, I've started reading my books back again. 3, I've lost 6 kilos of weight. I do my exercise, I go to my gym. Man, it is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. If this crisis continues for next 6 months, it's wonderful. I love it. Not that I want it to continue. But all I'm saying is, out of this crisis, you must come out upskilled, more knowledgeable, and healthier. If we don't, we cannot blame that we don't have time. Okay. Step 4. Many times I'm getting phone calls from people saying, Mr. Khera, I'm bored. I'm feeling depressed. They think I have all the answers, which I don't. But I tell them what I have to tell them. But I learned one thing for the purpose of my listeners today. I've learned one thing in my life, that only boring people in life are bored. I repeat, only boring people in life are bored. This is the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of being alone, and solitude is the pleasure of being alone, which says I am at peace with myself. Now, what is the way to get rid of depression? Because today, many people are feeling depressed. A world famous psychiatrist was a man by the name of Dr. Carl Menninger. Menninger Clinic in the US is considered to be the last word in psychiatry. So somebody asked Dr. Menninger, Doc, if you knew for sure that one of your patients was coming up with an attack of depression, what treatment would you prescribe? They thought he was going to write a medication. Now he said, if I knew for sure one of my patients was coming up with an attack of depression, I will tell them, go home, lock yourself out of the house, go to the other side of town, look for somebody who is in trouble, help them, and your depression will go away. What a message and what a treatment. Look for somebody who is in trouble, help them, and your depression will go away. You know what this means? Poor people are so busy earning a living, they have no time to get depressed. Depression is a disease of the rich. They have all the time to get depressed. Now, interestingly, I do some fundraising for the Rotaries, the Lions, the Round Table, and the Quality Circles. And I find every day they're so busy organizing a blood donation camp, eye camp, or polio eradication. They're so busy, they're so positive. They don't feel depressed. What a treatment given by a world-famous psychiatrist to overcome depression. Okay, step 5. To overcome this crisis, folks, build strong relationships in life. I repeat, build strong relationships in life. Your greatest asset in life is not your bank balance. Your greatest asset in life is your relationship balance. Have you noticed one thing? That people who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. True, Dr. Malhotra? I repeat, people who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. And folks, what kind of relationship are we talking about? Personally, professionally, socially. Now, personally is what? God forbid, if any one of us was in the hospital tonight, tell me, how many people will be around us? Maybe 1, 2, or 3 tops, that's it. And sadly, those are the ones we take it for granted, and they're the most neglected, sadly. And when we do our leadership program, in fact, I must mention this, that James Cook University from Australia has just partnered with us because we've been doing corporate training program for the past 35 years. And now when we do corporate training, we tell people that, look, what we are doing in your corporate today is we're doing repair work. Dr. Malhotra, we are doing repair work. And we say, if you prepare them, you won't have to repair them. Where do you prepare them? You prepare them in schools and colleges. So we created a program for leadership program for James Cook University in Australia. Prepare, don't repair for colleges. Prepare, don't repair. Okay. Now, why am I sharing this with you? In our leadership programs, we ask people, we have right now only 24 hours a day. But supposing miraculously, we could have 26 hours a day. Supposing we could get 2 extra hours a day as a bonus. What would you do with your 2 extra hours? You know what? 100% people said, if we had 2 extra hours per day, we will spend those 2 hours with our families. Well, damn it, you would do it. Now you got all 24 hours, why don't you do it? Most important thing is you find people who are emotionally strong. They're coming out stronger from this crisis. You know what? They are actually coming out stronger. And people who fight, they're breaking down. And if you don't make it up now, you'll fall apart anyway. Now, we talk of relationships. I got a phone call the other day from a gentleman who I had met 10 years ago, but hadn't heard in between. This man called me and said, Mr. Khera, we connected 10 years ago. We enjoyed each other's company, but somewhere we disconnected. I apologize, I didn't keep up with you. I'm just calling to reconnect. I said, man, what a guy. After he hung up, I immediately pulled out my telephone directory, and I started calling people who I had met 3, 4, 5 years ago, but somewhere we didn't keep up. And I just called them. I said, buddy, we met 3 years ago and we enjoyed being with each other, but somewhere we didn't keep up. I apologize. It's my fault. I'm just calling to reconnect. We have no business with each other, but that is good enough. Now, see, there are some people who join organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, Rotaries, the Lions, or somewhere for only one reason, and that is networking. Yeah, they want to network. And you ask them, what are you doing? He said, we are building contacts because someday he could be useful. Someday he could be useful. Now, usefulness goes, friendship also goes. Usefulness goes, friendship also goes. You can never build relationship with people who are only to use you and discard you. Usefulness goes, relationship goes also. They are selfish rascals, parasites. I repeat, selfish rascals, parasites. How can you build relationship with people like that? You can't. Look, there are 4 kinds of friendships in life. One is called the friendship of convenience. I have my neighbor. We eat and enjoy each other's company. Our kids go to the same school. We carpool together. And God forbid, middle of the night, if there's a problem, logistically he's closest. That is called friendship of convenience. Convenience goes, friendship also goes. There's a second kind of friendship is called friendship of usefulness. अरे साहब बना के रखो क्या पता कभी जरूरत पड़ जाए. You see, he could be useful someday. He's a cop, he's a lawyer, he's a mafia, he's a politician, he's a moneyed guy. Who knows? He could be useful someday. Usefulness goes, friendship also goes. The third kind of friendship is built on when you have a common enemy. Common enemy goes, friendship also goes. But this is most important, Dr. Malhotra, the fourth kind of friendship is built on mutual respect. The word is mutual respect, not the word tolerance. You keep hearing tolerance is a good word. In my vocabulary, it's not a great word. Let me explain to you why. See, I and my wife live together, not because we can tolerate each other. We live together because we respect each other. The day respect for each other goes, relationship goes. If we only live together because we can tolerate each other, you know what it means? You're postponing the blast. Same thing. Employers and employees work long-term together, not because they can tolerate each other. They work together because they respect each other. The moment the respect of each other goes, you can't work together. Now, think about it. If I have a friend of 20 years, and God forbid he has a problem tonight, who is he going to come for help to? Of course, me. I'm a friend of 20 years. He can't make new friends tonight. Is it my duty to help? Answer is yes. If I help him, am I doing a favor? No. And if I don't help him, am I behaving like a friend? Answer is no. Now keep in mind, helping each other as a friend is a duty of a friend. It is never the purpose of friendship. If it is the purpose finishes, friendship finishes also. But keep in mind, it is a duty And it always incidental to friendship, never the purpose of friendship. Now, I share with you, we have an office in Singapore. One evening I came from dinner and a man met me in the lobby, saw my suit, said, "You came from dinner?" I said, "Yes." He asked me, "I hope you met some people who could be useful to you tonight." I felt like giving him a piece of my mind and something more. You see, this person can only think, "I hope you met somebody who could be useful to you." He doesn't understand that meeting a good person is good enough in life. He's always looking what he can get. "I hope he could be useful to you." They are parasites, rascals. Relationships can never be built with people like that. In a good relationship, you must give a value addition to the other person. That is the only way to build relationship, that's all. And all these things that I'm sharing with you today on this webinar, no school and college is teaching that anywhere in the world. My two girls have done their masters in the US. They don't teach all this stuff there. No wonder when they come out, they're misfit. We need to understand what we need to give, what is true education it's all about. We need to get back to relationships. Number six, Yelena. Number 6, folks, become a proactive person. Become a proactive person. When we do our 3-day leadership program, 4-day leadership program, in fact, Dr. Malhotra, we've been doing for Rajgiri Business School for the last 5 years, our leadership program. Every year we go do it for the MBA students. Now, we ask people, are you a good person? Sometimes they get shocked. Why am I asking? And they say, well, if other people think I am, I am. If they don't know, I'm so. And sometimes I'm not sure. And then once in a while they say, yes, I'm good. And then you ask them, what makes you good? Then sometimes they say, well, I don't do bad, so I'm good. I don't tell lies, I don't cheat, I don't steal, so I'm good. And my answer is, sir, I disagree with your answer. See, by not doing bad, a person does not become good. If I don't steal, it only means I'm not a thief, but that does not make me good. And if I don't cheat, it only means I'm not a cheat. And if I don't tell lies, it only means I'm not a liar, but that does not make me good. See, go ask a medical doctor. Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Dr. Malhotra, are you with me? Absence of ill health does not mean good health. And a person does not become, because they don't do bad, they become good only when they proactively do good.
Right.
Okay, now, why am I sharing this with you? Because all your listeners today, students, everybody, they are all future leaders. They are all future leaders. And I've been doing leadership programs for the Fortune 50 companies all over the world. But I learned one thing, that a good leader is never neutral. A good leader either stands for something and then stands against something. A good leader is never neutral, and if you're neutral, you're a politician. Now, why do I share that? All my life, I have had strong likes and dislikes. I have never been a neutral person in my life. Now, you keep hearing the word compassion is good. It is a good word, but I have no compassion for the enemies of humanity. I repeat, I have no compassion for the enemies of humanity. Now, who do I label as enemies of humanity? I've seen videos from New York. I've seen videos from Europe. And we've all seen videos from India, where there are many people who have actually physically beaten up the healthcare professionals. They've stoned them. nurses and doctors. And they have been spitting on them. They have been spitting on the cops, security forces, and they are spitting on the vegetables. They are spitting on fruits, and they're also spitting on home delivery pizzas. Knowing fully well, if I spit, this person could be infected. Are they not enemies of humanity? Isn't that sadistic behavior? I have no compassion for them whatsoever. Now, why do I share this with you? A very important reason. I was doing a program a few years ago for about 6,000-7,000 people. One person from the audience came up and he asked me, Mr. Khera, are you a Gandhian? So I learned one thing in my life, that don't answer a question till you clarify. And two, sometimes the best answer to a question is a question. So I asked this man, I said, sir, tell me, how do you define a Gandhian? And what are the criteria to be a Gandhian? So the man says, well, Gandhi believed in 3 principles. 1, with love, you can win everybody in this world. 2, Gandhi believed in the principle of tolerance. 3, Gandhi believed in non-violence. 3 principles. So then again he looked at me and he says, are you a Gandhian? I don't know what came to my mind that minute. I said, sir, even though I've been in US, I'm an Indian. Coming from our culture, we do have our epics like the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita. We respect them. Though I have not read them, but I've heard them. So I don't know, considering that, I asked him, sir, can you tell me, was Ram a Gandhian? Think about it. Was Ram a Gandhian? Let us look at the 3 principles. I said, well, was Ram able to win everybody with love? Answer is no. 2, did Ram say, I'm a very tolerant person? You kidnap a wife away, it's okay, I'll get a second one. You'll kidnap a second one, I'll get a third one. You'll kidnap a third one, I'll get a fourth one. Did he say that? He said, no, I don't tolerate kidnappers. 3, you said non-violence. I said, tell me, what did Ram do? He had to pull out the weapon and kill the evil. He had to. So he did violence even for self-defense. So I said, well, Ram failed all 3 tests. That means Ram was not a Gandhian. Not only that, you go look at our life history of 10 Sikh gurus. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, when the forced conversion was taking place from the Mughals, was he able to win with love? Answer is no. Did he say, I'm going to tolerate your oppression? He said no. Did he pull out the weapon? Answer is yes. So he was not a Gandhian either. I said, you need to understand, when the respect and dignity of women and children is being auctioned outside, folks, not fighting is called cowardice. It is not called tolerance. That is called cowardice. And I said, Ram did not say, I'm a neutral person. He stood for something. He stood against something. He didn't say, I'm neutral. And I said, sir, I'm not a Gandhian. I am not a Gandhian. We need to be very clear what is being proactive in life. You want to be a good leader, we need to take a stand in life. And if you want to be a politician, don't stay neutral forever. Okay, next step, step 7. Folks, step 7 says, faith gives strength, but blind faith leading to superstition weakens people. I repeat, faith gives strength, But blind faith leading to superstition weakens people. Why am I saying this? And this is crucial epidemic. It has become epidemic in our country here. One of the biggest damage done to our country is through our media, the print media or the television media. You know what? Every time you open up the paper or look at the TV, what do you see? Horoscope. And there is a person sitting there with saffron or white clothes and wearing 3 tilak here and 3 tilak there. And he is asking, where are you calling from? What is your name? What is your date of birth? Time of birth? Guruji, I don't know. Guruji, I don't know. He said, don't worry, I will take it out. And he does tick, 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 tick. And he says, you have Patni dosh, Putri dosh, Pita dosh, Phalana dosh, Ye dosh, Wo dosh, and you have Manglik, 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 and you have Shani, 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 and now you got Shani on you. And now he says, well, how do I get rid of Shani? And he says, well, to get rid of Shani, what you do is, you get a black handkerchief, put a black dal inside, put a black kajal inside, find somebody with black hair, turn around 7 times, find a black dog and a black bartan. साहब आपके लोग तो जितने व्यूअर्स हैं हिंदी समझते हैं. मैं साहब एक ये बात पूछना चाहता हूं कि शनि को उतारना चढ़ाना इतना आसान है, तो मुझे आप एक बात बताओ, शनि को पाकिस्तान क्यों नहीं भेजते? सारे टेररिस्ट को मरवा दो आप वहां पे. इसी शनि को उतारना चढ़ाना इतना आसान है, तो एक बात बताओ, शनि को भेजे लद्दाख में, सारे चाइनीज के साथ लड़वा दो उसको. What a joke. Folks, why am I sharing this with you? There's a very important reason, and that is, if you read life history of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they never ever believed in all these things, never. In fact, they fought against it. You look at Guru Nanak, all Sikh families, they never tally their horoscopes. They have no manglik. There is no good omen. All weddings are done on a Sunday. Sikh weddings are done on a Sunday. Sunday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Saturday. Saturday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Friday. Think about it. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Another very important thing. Have you noticed there are people, there are Babajis sitting there, and people go down to them and they touch their feet. This guy should be in jail. And they touch their feet and they say, Babaji, kya kare, Babaji, kya kare? He says, oh, beta, preet karo, preet karo, preet karo. One Baba is selling preet, another Baba is selling honey, and then another Baba is mixing honey, preet together, selling honey, preet together. What a joke. And there are people, thousands of people lining up there. Have you seen Mrs. Dr. Malhotra, you've seen people, and this Baba is asking, "Are bhai kal jalebi khai thi? Nahi khati." Yeah, that's the problem. What a joke. Kal golgappe khai to nahi khati. Yeah, it's a problem. And there are people paying money and touch their feet. You have no bloody self-respect left. Now, very important reason is, sadly, there are many educated people, MBAs and PhDs doing all these things today. I share with you, an article came out in India today about a year and a half ago, which said, because of astrology and superstition, natural childbirth in India has gone down by 80%. And they especially quoted South India, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Madras. They said 80% of childbirth in South India is taking through C-section and operation. You know why? Some astrologers said this is a good time to get the kid out, good omen. And they're pulling out the kid based on the astrology. What is going on here? Now, why am I bringing this up? We all have ups and downs in life, don't we? Everybody has ups and downs in life. We all have, don't we? Now, when we have downs, a person who is accepting responsibility analyzes the situation and asks, what is my learning from here? If a similar situation came, will I behave the same way? If the answer is yes, you'll behave the same way, means you've not learned anything. And then there's a learning from every incident, and people accept responsibility, so I will not behave like this next time. But people who don't want to accept responsibility, you know what they say? It's not my fault, my stars are not favoring me. And they don't learn anything from there, and they keep repeating the same mistake again and again and again and again, which is sad. And it has become epidemic in our country today. Now, I was doing a program, in my last program, we had 103,000 people in one program logged in, 103,000. And one person asked me a question. Mr. Khera, there are people who go to temples and they wait in line for 12 hours, 14 hours for darshans. Is that faith or blind faith? They asked me, is that faith or is that blind faith? So here is my answer to them. Folks, I believe in God, I pray every day. Now, people say, have you seen God? Why do you believe in God? My only reason is, there are many things in life which are beyond human. They are mysteries or miracles, I don't know. I don't know. They're either mysteries or miracles, I don't know. But there is a superpower, so I call it God, and that's about it. I pray every day. But in the last 45 years, maybe once or twice, I have not been to any temple. Maybe to Gurdwaras once or twice, and that's about it. And I feel very strongly that 90% people who go to temples today, they go there more out of fear than out of faith. You don't do this, this will happen. You don't do this, this will happen. You don't do this, it will happen. This is fear motivation to squeeze money out of you. Folks, go check out life histories of Swami Vivekananda, Dayanand, Guru Nanak. They never believed in all these things. Faith will strengthen you. Blind faith, superstition will weaken you in life. That's all I want to say. Okay, next step. Lastly, I'm skipping one in the interest of time, but let me move on to the last one. It is, this is time to give back. Look, we're staying in a good home. We have an honorable meal and we're grateful to God. But there are many people who don't have that privilege. It is time for us to share and give it to the underprivileged. Now, I've seen videos from all over the world, and there are many, many, many good people who have come forward and they're helping humanity. They're offering money, they're offering time, they're offering food. There are many, many people. But there is one community who has been honored as a community for the humanitarian service. They've been honored by the government of Canada, government of United States, government of UK, government of Australia, government of US, New Zealand. Folks, one community who has been honored for the humanitarian service, and that is the Sikh community. The Sikh community has been honored all over the world by the governments of many countries for the humanitarian service. You know why? Because the Sikh philosophy, the Guru Granth Sahib and the philosophy is, even before the crisis, the concept of langar was a matter of sharing with people. Thousands of people were getting, today millions are being fed by them. You know why? Because the Sikh philosophy is, they're caring people. They're sharing people. And three, they're daring people. I repeat, they're caring people, they care. Two, they're sharing people, they share. And the daring people, they dare. They have the guts and courage to fight the evil. Look at this boy Gultesh killed 12 of the Chinese up there. Folks, we need to learn. I wish India had adopted the philosophy of the Guru Granth Sahib and the Sikh philosophy instead of our own constitution, this country would have been totally different. Now, lastly, I want to close with this story from France, a man by the name of Lafayette. He was a multimillionaire. Once a drought came in France, and people were starving. And he had his warehouses full of grains. And his advisor said to him, Mr. Lafayette, this is time to multiply your money. They will pay anything. Make 10x, 100x, you will grow. He said, no, you don't understand. There were good times. They were laughing, we were laughing. They were making money, we were making money. He said, these are not good times. This is time to open up the grains and give it free. And he did. You know something? It is people like that who make the world livable. Now, why do I share this? Because once I was doing a program for VHNI. I'm sure you must have heard HNI. HNI stands for High Net Worth in Individuals. But I was doing a program for VHNI. You know what VH stands for? Very high net worth. And who do I label as VHNI? People with net worth in excess of $250 million. Okay. So as I finished the program, one person from the audience came up and said, Mr. Khera, there are billionaires. There are billionaires. They don't need any more money. They have enough money to take care of many generations. But why does a billionaire keep working to make more billions? He doesn't need it. But they keep working to make more billions. Why do they do it? So Dr. Malhotra, here's what I said to the person. I said, look, there are two kinds of billionaires in this world. One is suffering from inferiority complex who keeps making more billions to keep a score. They keep up with the Joneses. How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? He's made 50 million, I must make 100. He's got 100, I must make 200. 200, 300, I must make 300, I must make 400. Because if I have less than him, I'm inferior. You know what they're doing? They are measuring their self-worth by their net worth. I repeat, they're measuring their self-worth by their net worth. They don't understand. People make things, things don't make people. Now, you see, there is one person who makes more and more to keep a score, to hide inferiority, and they sit on the treasure like a snake and do nothing for society. That rascal, I never want to call them for tea, coffee in my house. And Warren Buffett described this beautifully. He said, a donkey is a donkey is a donkey, will remain a donkey. Now, even if it has $1 billion, he is now a donkey with $1 billion, that's all. And I share something. You see, if you carry gold bricks on a donkey, the donkey does not become a golden donkey. He still is a donkey. Now, there is one billionaire who keeps making more. But there's a second kind of a billionaire who has billions, but they keep making more because they feel the more I have, the more I give. The more I have, the more I give. The more I have, the more I give. Warren Buffett, I believe, has $40 billion, gave $39 billion to charity. Bill Gates got $33 billion, gave $32 billion to charity. Azim Premji 6 months ago gave $7 billion to charity. Tata organizations, 66% of profit of Tata goes into charity. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because when we do our leadership program, 3-4 day programs, many times from the audience, people come up and they say, Mr. Khera, you talk about money. Because we do talk about financial independence. And as I close, I'll share with you what it is. You do talk about money and they say, well, Mr. Khera, money is not important. And I've written in my book, I'm on record. Those who say money is not important, either they're stupid or they're billionaires. Now, I didn't say money is the most important thing, but I said money is very important. Now, but many times people say, but Mr. Khera, money can't buy happiness. And my answer is, let me ask you, does poverty buy you happiness? And my next question is, if I have to be unhappy, I would rather be unhappy with money than without money. And not only that, but many times people say, but Mr. Khera, money is the root of all evils. I said, no, no, no. You got it wrong. Money is not the root of all evils. Money is wonderful. Money is food for the hungry. Money is medicine for the sick. Money is shelter for the homeless. Money is wonderful. Money is not the root of all evils. It is the love of money which is the root of all evils. Loving money using people, you got it wrong. Loving people using money, you got it right. And I said, but the sadly thing is, there is a big difference between making money versus earning money. Making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. You see, earning money means I'm doing it with my energy and my ethics. Earning money is earning with ethics. And sadly today, most people want to make money, very few want to earn money. Now, you see, but the sad part is that many times in life, in the pursuit of money, we lose out the things money just cannot buy. And the most precious things in life, money just cannot buy. Money can buy you amusement, but not happiness. Money can buy you books, but not wisdom. Money can buy you a bed, but not sleep. Money can buy you a companion, but not a friend. Money can buy you comfort, but not happiness. Money can buy you food, but not appetite. And money can buy you money can buy you a house, but not a home. Money can buy you medicine, but not good health. Money can buy you a ring, but not a marriage. Remember, the most precious things in life, money just cannot buy. But remember, money is important. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because I learned one thing in my life, that money in good hands always does good. And money in evil hands always does evil. Therefore, in my program, I close this, and I'm closing right now, that it is the moral obligation of every good human being to be a multi-millionaire and a billionaire. I repeat, it is the moral obligation of every good human being to be a multi-millionaire and a billionaire. Why? Because money in good hands does good, and money in evil hands always does evil. With those words, Dr. Malhotra, I've gone easily 1.5 hours, I think.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
give the floor back to you in the interest of time. I've just cut down one step, but maybe another time, God willing, we'll do it.
Sure.
Take the floor, please, and take it forward. And I want to thank all of you. Wish everybody good health. God bless all of you. And thank you. And I compliment your chairperson and the organizers and the directors and the dean, everybody who's been instrumental, and Shambhavi from my side, from my office. I wish everybody good health. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, sir, we have 2 students who have some questions. Can we connect them with you?
Sure, sure.
So the first one is Advitendra. Advitendra, can you please enable your camera?
Very good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, first of all, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us. Sir, my name is Advitendra, and my question is, when and how did you think that you should publish your ideas and convert them into books?
When and how should you convert your ideas and publish into books.
No, sir. When and how did you think that you should publish your ideas and convert them into books?
How did I do that? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it was somewhere at the back of my mind, probably when I went to US, initially went to Canada, and when I was washing cars, and when I started attending Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's program and a few others. Keep in mind, till then, I had never read a book in my life. I was only reading comics and the old Archie comics and so on. And I was never a bright student in my class either. I was a backbencher troubling the front benchers. In my 8th grade, out of 6 or 7 subjects, I failed in all except one. So my principal called me and said, Shiv, we're paying too much attention on one subject. Out of 28 kids, I was number 27 because the 28th was absent. No kidding. In the 10th grade, I had to repeat my class. But all I'm sharing with you is that when I was washing cars, you see, that is the time when my mind opened up and I realized many times in life, we are our own biggest problem. Till then, I kept blaming the whole world for my problems and my failure, not realizing that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside, but something the inside and the direction changed. And this happened after I attended Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's program. And that's the time I made in my mind, I must write an international best-selling book. Almost 40 years ago when I was washing cars. And I started writing these things. I used to go to a restaurant. I used to get napkins. I started writing my book on napkins. So I started collecting napkins. I couldn't file them. So I had a big box. I started dumping them. So it was a long time. It took me almost 30 years to write my first book. So the new one didn't take that long, but yeah, it took me that long, sir. Look, writing a book is easy. Anybody can write a book in 5 days. I'm not kidding. But you want to write a masterpiece? It takes time. You want to write a masterpiece? It takes time. Maybe I'm a slow guy. It took me 30 years. Maybe many people do get much faster. Who knows what? Right, sir?
Sir, it indeed was a masterpiece. It stays with us and it has helped us a lot. Next question is from Bhavya. Bhavya, can you please enable your camera?
Good evening, sir. My name is Bhavya.
Good evening.
My question is, how can I handle situations in which I am asked to do some things beyond my capabilities?
Okay. How do I handle which I'm asked to do something beyond my capabilities? There are only 2 ways in life to handle that. Only 2 ways. Bhavya, hear this carefully. Whenever there's a benchmark in life, whenever there's a benchmark and we are not able to hit the benchmark, what do? There are only 2 things we can do. Either lower the benchmark or increase our effort. There's no third thing we can do. Either increase our effort to reach that or lower the benchmark. And 99% people in this world, what do? They lower the benchmark. But people who want to achieve something in life, they increase the effort. So that is the only way. There is no other way. Now, let me give you some other example through history. Well, personally, I'm one example who failed a few times, came back. Now, who was the greatest legend in martial art? Have you heard the name Bruce Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He was a legend in martial art. Now, you heard the name Bruce Lee, but let me ask you, in my new book, You Can Achieve More, I have mentioned this. Did you know that Bruce Lee's one leg was shorter than the other by 1 inch? Did you know that? Okay. 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm can disalign a person. 1 inch, man, you are totally disaligned. And did you also know that Bruce Lee's eyesight was -10? He could not see his opponent without lenses, but he practiced 5,000 punches per day. And he mentioned, which I have quoted in my book, him. He said, I'm not afraid of a person who knows 10,000 ways how to kick. I'm afraid of a person who knows only one way, but he's practiced one way 10,000 times. That is a scary one. Now, let me ask you, Javier, was Bruce Lee an exception? Yes, no.
No, sir. Exceptions are always there.
No, my asking, was Bruce Lee an exception or he was the norm?
No,
Do you call it an exception or norm?
he was an exception.
Okay. My answer to you is he was a norm. He's not an exception for anybody who is an achiever in life. Let me give you other examples. Show me one success story and I'll show you what was the handicap they came through. Now, you heard the name Michael Phelps? Okay. Michael Phelps created history in Beijing, won 8 gold medals. He broke a 36-year record of Mark Spitz. Now, most people have heard of Michael Phelps, but hardly anybody came to know that Michael Phelps, before the Olympics, he fractured his hand 24 months before that. Doctors said you can't get into the water anymore. And even if your hand does get repaired, will it have the same strength? You are competing at the Olympics, not your neighborhood kids. Now, Michael Phelps was preparing for this event for a decade. He couldn't see his lifetime dream shatter. He told the doctor, I will get in the water. I won't use my hands, I'll use my legs. He continued using his legs. And 2 years later at Beijing, he created history, won 8 gold medals. And one of the event was 100 meters butterfly stroke. And guess what was the distance between him and the person who came second? 1/100th of a second. And it is attributed that when he had fractured his hand, he was preparing with his legs. His legs became so strong. The last point, that's what gave him the push. Now, the press was there. He created history. And they said, Mr. Phelps, you created history, won 8 gold medals. And they said, must be your lucky day. Must be your lucky day. Now, Michael Phelps didn't like it. He said, you come here, I'll tell you how lucky I got. He said, in the last 4 years, I've trained 10,000 hours. Yeah, if you're good at maths, that translates into 2,500 hours per year. And if you're good at calculus, that translates into 8 hours per day, no Sunday. And he said, you go and sit in the water for 8 hours every day for the next 4 years, your body will shrivel. And he asked, did I get lucky? He said, did I get lucky? He said, luck is not designed to deliver you these things in life. He said, athletes train 15 years for 15 seconds of performance. Who asked them, did they get lucky? It does not work that way. Now, let me ask you, was Michael Phelps an exception? Answer is no. Go check out anybody. Bhavya, you look at Steve Jobs. Have you heard his speech at the convocation at Stanford? You must listen. His opening sentence was, I came to this world unwanted. The day he was born, he was put up for adoption. He said, nobody wanted me in this world. You know something, was he an exception? No. You see, why am I sharing this with you? Go check out anybody who's done anything in this world. They all have done in spite of problem, not in absence of. And when we hear such stories, real life, it forces us to redefine the word success. Success is not absence of problems, it is overcoming problems. And success is not measured by how high we go up in life. It is measured by how many times we bounce back when we fall down. That is success. And success is not measured by how we do as compared to others. It is measured by how we do as compared to what we are capable of doing. Go check out athletes compete against themselves. They better their own record. They do not compete with others. So all my answer to you is, Bhavya, go back. When you say, I'm given benchmark, it is beyond me, find out. And you know, things don't happen overnight. Remember one thing, this I'm going to be writing in my new book. The greatest masters in life were the greatest disasters when they started. Take this home, this line that I'm giving you. The greatest masters, when they started, they were the greatest disasters. So don't think you are not able to do it. You increase your capacity as you go along. Make a choice in life. Life is full of choice. Did you hear me? Life is full of choices. Did you hear me just now? Life is full of choices. Life is full of compromises. Bhavya? Okay. Well, I'll stop at that one. I think you're on mute. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering this. Actually, we have one last student left. Can you take his question as well, sir?
If you say so, go ahead.
Okay.
Bhavya, do you have the whole thing? She's back now. Go ahead.
Okay, Kushagra Tiwari, please enable your camera.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, sir.
My name is Kushagra Tiwari.
All right, sir. Mr.
I'm so overwhelmed listening to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm grateful to you, sir.
Without any delay, I would like to put forth my question to you.
Sure.
What advice would you like to provide if someone wishes to aspire being a motivational speaker? What the bar ahead?
Come again, the last portion I missed out. Advice to be a motivational speaker.
What advice would you like to provide if someone wishes to aspire being a motivational speaker?
Okay. Well, when I started globally, there were thousands of motivational speakers, and many people have come down, and today there are many motivational speakers out there, which is fine. Look, there are many people looking to copy here and there, steal content here and there, and getting content here, getting content there, and copying the whole thing. I know when I started out, when I opened an office in India, my book, You Can Win, I had my cover picture on it with a blue suit with a tie and my hand doing this. There I saw many people who got the picture done that way with the same blue suit and started doing that. But you know something, that is not the way to become a motivational speaker. That is not. That is outright cheating, dishonesty, and people go out of business. You know something, I have been offered, here is a Kushagra, I've been offered a PhD twice. Now, you know my qualification, become third division, fail in 10th. I've been offered a PhD twice, and they said, your book is a thesis. I have refused to accept a PhD. Now, let me ask you, if I have a PhD, what difference does it make? If I have something behind my tail, so what? The moment you open your mouth, the world knows who the bloody hell you are.
Yes, sir.
What difference does it make? You know something, you do not become motivational speakers like you. One, you have to have content. You have to have conviction. You know something, you could probably, anybody could do what I'm doing here. But where do you get the conviction from? It is your conviction that comes out is what, and do you believe in what you do? There are many people who preach something and they practice something else. They're crooks. They are crooks. They're rascals. So keep in mind, do you practice what you preach? Where are you? Do you have conviction? That is the only way your conviction will come out strongly. Otherwise, you cannot be a motivational speaker. And if you are, well, you're cheating people. That's all. You ought not to be.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I'm honestly very overwhelmed by your thought process. And these 8 steps that you've spoken about, surely if our students go on implementing that, they ensure 80 successful years in life, I believe. Thank you so much for being here with us today. You are a source of motivation and inspiration to all of us. On behalf of the directors, faculty members, students, and the entire AG fraternity, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to you, sir, for sparing your time from the busiest schedule of yours. And today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us all throughout our life. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Grateful to you. Thank you very much. And I must compliment the Asia Business School for initiating these things by providing good values to all the students. I think it's, if I had to come back, I'd probably come back to a place and join my master's through people like you who believe in good values.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Take care.